Hello everyone, welcome to Real Reds Talk and welcome to the review of the game between Arsenal and Manchester United. Arsenal win it 3-2. We lose at the Emirates in a tough battle, back and forth, constantly throughout, but Arsenal's quality on the ball shown in the last 20 minutes. Pressure was mounting, we conceded a very late goal to Nketiah, and it's fine margins at the very top level. It's a big win for them. I thought we performed relatively well, probably up until the 70th minute. But I think there's definitely there's certainly a few individuals I want to touch on. But Sam, what was your overall opinion on that game?
It was there for the taking, wasn't it, for the most part, end to end. Both teams going for it. I thought we had quality in parts. Thought we definitely could have scored a few goals. Arsenal again had equal opportunities to obviously put that away and put it to bed. And then the last sort of 10-15 minutes, we kind of just seemed like we were settling for the draw. Yeah. We kind of just sort of had no legs left to sort of push for that winner. And I thought we could have, if we had the legs or we had any sort of depth on the bench, we probably could have brought them off and pushed for the win. But we didn't have it. I'm sure we'll get on to individual players. I thought Shaw had a terrible time against Saka on his left-hand side. Thought he got done day in, day out, and they had to bring Fred on to help deal with it. And it's just, it was a gut punch. It was a punch in the stomach right at the very end to concede 89th minute.
It really was, wasn't it?
I thought we could have won the game, but I would have taken the point. But yeah, conceding that manner is it's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah, especially like really thought I was adamant that was offside just from the first viewing. I was like, it looks like just one of them easy ones. Like, flag it off. But they was pressing for it. I want to dive into the key battles very shortly, but who stood out for you individually in that game? Who was the ones you thought they had a great game for either team?
I thought for us, Lissandro and Varane had a great game. I thought they were really, really solid. Obviously, Lissandro got the goal. There was that ridiculously good tackle that he got when, was it Nketiah got in on goal? And he slid
Xhaka, was it Xhaka?
It
was. And Odegaard, that little flip-flap pass.
He slid a fantastic tackle. So I thought them two were good. Really, really good. Rashford was all right. He was better than he was against Crystal Palace, but I still didn't think he was amazing. Anything. Weghorst was decent in parts. I thought he did some really good stuff.
I thought he was good.
He contributed really well to the team. They were the good ones. Arsenal, Saka absolutely ran Luke Shaw ragged, tore him to pieces, was on fire on that right side, causing all sorts of trouble. And it took till like 68th, 7th minutes to bring Fred on to help Shaw out because he was just
too long.
Stepping off on him, not pressing him, not going out to him quicker. Wan-Bissaka had a similar issue on the other side with Martinelli, but then it eventually started stepping out to him and closing him down quicker, which brought more success. And then I thought on the Arsenal side as well, Odegaard was allowed too much time, too much space on the ball. It wasn't being shut down often enough. Like
what player, by the way?
Yeah, fantastic player. But the way we did with De Bruyne, we shut him out of the game and just stopped our thing. We didn't do that with Odegaard, and that's why I was surprised that Scott McTominay started and Fred didn't, because I thought
I'm surprised Eriksen did. I was like mega surprised.
We'll get on to individual players and stuff like that, but they were the good ones. Do you want me to get into the poor performances?
Yeah, go for it. Let's do it. Yeah, let's.
I thought Shaw was poor. I thought he got absolutely destroyed on that left hand side. There was a couple of moments going forward that were decent, but defensively, I thought he was terrible. Just didn't have.
Saka's so good 1v1 though. He is so good. You watched the Tottenham game?
Yeah.
The North London derby, Saka was destroying that right hand side.
You've got to do better though. You've got to step out to him. You've got to press him. You've got to be on him, tighter to him. He was just stepping off and giving him all the space to run at him. And I think Gary Neville said it on commentary. You can't let him do that because he'll just every single time. And
we saw the goal he scored as well.
Exactly. So he was terrible. I thought Wan-Bissaka was bad for a while. And then he seemed to shorten up his game towards the end. He seemed to sort of come back to it, which was nice to see. Eriksen, poor. Really, really poor. Don't know what he was doing. He just seemed absolutely out of the game. Didn't get any stranglehold on it. There's no passing. There was no influence on it. Just wasn't there at all. And Scott McTominay, I didn't even hear his name mentioned through most of the game. Didn't know what he did. Don't know what he was influencing. Don't know what he was supposed to be doing. The special job that Ten Hag mentioned. Don't know what it was, because whatever it was, he wasn't doing it. So
I think one thing that stood out, Sam, was we really missed Casemiro today, didn't we?
God.
Like, Jesus, the level, the drop in quality. This is what happens, and it goes back to squad depth again.
Yep.
Like, we looked to the bench. Who the fuck? Like, Arsenal just bringing the new signing on in Trossard, who's caused a couple of problems himself. We're bringing on Fred. We're bringing on Garnacho. Like, again, young kid, really talented, but not really enough time to make an impact. And we're doing them late as well. So it's like the guy, you could clearly see the lads were knackered on the pitch. He was absolutely knackered. They're giving it all. I absolutely respect that. But they're tired, man. You need that fresh legs of energy. And I thought the Fred sub itself was like, I was just waiting for it. I said in 65th, why, or even at half time, why is he not putting him on? You could see Eriksen was like dragging across the pitch in transitions back and forth. He was struggling to keep up with it.
Yeah. I think this is, again, like you just mentioned, it comes down to squad depth. And all these people are saying, oh, it could be a title track. It was never going to be. Like, this is what happens as soon as you take a Casemiro out. The drop in quality is massive because you have nobody to rotate with. Who was on the bench? Like you said, Garnacho, 17-year-old kid. Like, he didn't get enough time to do anything when he did eventually come on. Fred, who's 50-50 at the best of times. Sometimes great job, sometimes not. And then you have Kobe Mainu, who's had one senior game for United. One.
Well, I was looking at the bench, Sam, before the game. I was reading out. I was like, right, so our bench is Heaton, Lindelof, Maguire, Elanga, Palestre, Kobe Mainu,
Garnacho,
Fred, and Garnacho.
Yeah.
I'm like, what bench is that? City look at their bench. Got Calvin Phillips, Bernardo Silva, like Laporte, like these kind of guys, and it's just
Chelsea's bench.
Compete.
Chelsea's bench is like Chelsea's bench. Like, you know what I mean?
This is what I mean. Look, it's one of them seasons where there might be some questions saying, what if we got a couple of players in January? Like, you never know. Them kind of things can make a massive, massive difference. I just want to read out a couple of quotes here coming out from the game, just what the last one live right now. Roy Keane said, there's a bit to go with United. They did come and perform, but it's hard to win games when you concede 3 goals. Luke Shaw said, we're all gutted in the changing room. To concede so late on is a reality check. In the second half, we deserved that. We were a bit passive and let them control the game completely. We were fighting to the last second, but we had to concentrate for the full game, and one lapse in concentration could cost you a goal. That's one thing about Luke Shaw, in fairness. He is very honest in his assessments, and he's pretty much spot on with a lot that he says. He says, you have to give Arsenal credit for what they've done this season. They deserve to be at the top, how they're playing. There is a long way to go, and we have to focus fully on our next game, a big semi-final coming up. But Arsenal, Sam, just look, as much as we hate Arsenal and, United fans, it's always the history goes back for years. But as a team, they are good. There's no denying that. Like, on the ball, they're so fucking intelligent. They cut you open. Like, he must be so... I actually thought there was resolute for 70 minutes defensively. Like you said, Lissandro, Varane. Even Weghorst was getting back at times, like, getting stuck in. And I thought we managed them relatively well. They didn't have, like, glaring opportunities. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of 50-50, but the last 20 minutes really stood out in that, and that's where you need your game changers. And if you don't have anyone to bring off the bench, you get killed, don't you?
Yeah, like you said, I think Arsenal are really, really good, but Arteta's been given time. He's had players bought, invested, etc., all that sort of stuff. He's a few years ahead of where Ten Hag is right now.
Exactly.
He's had the investment, he's had the opportunities to get players he wants, build his team, be given the time, and now it's paying dividends. He's, what are they now? 11 points clear of us? 12 points clear of us?
Probably, yeah. But he's been there for 3 years, hasn't it? Arteta's been there 3 years.
Yeah.
Ten Hag's been there 6 months. But
that's what I mean. Ten Hag's done that with limited investment or limited sort of opportunities to get people in. Like Arsenal, January, they've chased that Mudryk for so long. Ended up going to Chelsea. Instead of them just going, well, there's nobody else. They've gone, no, we'll go plan B. Trossard, and then they've got that centre-back from Spezia. Is it Spezia?
Yeah, I know who you're on about.
So they've invested. They've gone, no, we didn't get our number 1 target. Okay, pivot. These next people, get these guys in. United are just like, chase. Oh, we didn't get him. Oh, well, that's fucking... We haven't got it. We haven't got anybody. Like, we chased Jadon Sancho for 2 years. Bruno Fernandes, it took us the summer and the January to get him. So yeah, it's just like you said, lack of investment. I thought Ten Hag did really, really well. The players did really well for 70 minutes, and then the last 20 minutes, it just tells, again, we don't have the squad to rotate. Players are tired, playing games in
A lot of them,
a game every 3 days.
Yeah.
And it was always going to catch up to us at some point.
Yeah. But more than welcome to get, if there's any comments, I'm more than welcome to get into them. I want to discuss individuals as well and the goals. So whatever you want to start off with there.
Yeah. There's 68 people in the chat, so shout out to everybody in the chat. Please get your questions in. Please get comments, anything you want in. We've just hit 1,040 subscribers, so thank you for that. Appreciate it. Shreyas, we could have won this. Casemiro was missed badly. Yeah, I totally agree. Adam, gutted. Our passing at the end was atrocious. No control, not good enough. Agreed. Where else? Slick View Media. Nketiah's numbers didn't lie in the beginning. And Daniel Raj still have some time in the market to get a DM on loan. I mean, we do, but I don't think it's likely. I don't think it happens.
I mean, I'll take Gravenbach all day, mate, from Bayern Munich.
Shreyas, Lissandro was great today. Yeah, agreed. Lissandro was fantastic.
Yeah, but we're going to get into the player ratings very shortly. But let us know, throw some questions in there for us, what you thought of that game. Because it's super interesting up until the 70th minute. And like I said, Arsenal just kind of took it away there. But there's a reason why they haven't lost at the Emirates yet. Yeah. That's how good they're playing at the minute. They are a very good team. And we identify that. Arteta's been there 3 months. Ten Hag's been there 6 months. He needs time. It's not the end of the world. That's why I'm not so reactionary to it at the minute. Because I know it's a process. And I know Ten Hag's doing the right things. And he's got a good performance out of him for the most part. It's just, some glaring issues that we need to sort out. Yeah, we'll leave individuals more for the ratings. But what about the goals? What do you think about the goals, Sam? Marcus Rashford's first one. Fuck me. Wow.
What a goal. What a goal. I totally get to play. We were getting dominated all over the pitch. There was a breakout. I think he nutmegs Partey and then he knocks it past was it Xhaka? I think.
I don't know.
Onto his right foot and then just absolutely smashes it in the bottom corner past Ramsdale. Fantastic goal, and it's 1-0. And you're just like, where the fuck did that come from? Just weren't. He totally gets play. Weren't expecting it, and yeah, fantastic goal. Rashford again, just showing he had one dip in a game and then he's back the next game and he scores. So
killer. Yeah, absolutely killer. Then they get the equaliser. Please remind me what goal it was, because that game's just gone in a flash. I can't remember who got the fucking equaliser.
Nketiah got the equaliser, didn't he, with the header?
Oh, back post.
Wan-Bissaka just letting him go.
Yeah, and what happened at Man City as well? Wan-Bissaka had a back post. And I mentioned, I even take it back to early days when we played Leipzig in the Europa League, and when they scored twice in quick succession at the back post from Angelino. Who was it again? Wan-Bissaka. Like, he's really bad at defending his back post. And when Dalot played against West Ham, you could see the difference. I remember even Gary Neville saying in commentary, look how Dalot defends his back post. Like, he knows his positionally, he knows where he's at. Wan-Bissaka 1v1 versus Martinelli kept him relatively quiet, but his positioning, his aerial awareness is not great at all. And you can see that Arsenal targeted that with that goal, didn't they?
Yeah. No, we've always said this, like, Wan-Bissaka, there's holes in his game. One of them is the going offensively, and the other one is his positioning. And again, he's been done twice against games against the top teams in the top four. You can sometimes get away with it against teams like Palace and Brentford, etc. But when you play City and you play Arsenal, they're going to punish you. If you get that match space, it's going to be punished. A couple of questions before we get into the other goals.
Yeah.
Shreyas, do we need badly a backup winger or a DM? What do you think, Nick?
I'm really worried about McTominay and Eriksen when you play that. I don't think McTominay's nowhere near good enough. No. And I only like Christian Eriksen when we're playing against a low block or a team that's less significant.
Casemiro's in the midfield.
Yeah, if Casemiro's in there, it's not too bad. But Eriksen just like, I don't know. I'm struggling with him at the minute. The past couple of games, I keep saying he in the transition physically, he really struggles to deal like Partey, Xhaka. These kind of guys. I love his brain. I love his intelligence, but it's something we need to seriously take a look at, man. We need a Bellingham in that midfield or something.
Shreyas, Wan-Bissaka once again not marking his man on the back spot. Same mistake. Yeah, we just mentioned that. Dan, I mentioned in another YouTube show comments last year, the Arteta is building something. Players like Saka and Nketiah, Smith Rowe laughed off, saying it's temporary. Yeah, it's paying off now. Adam, do you think there's a quality drop in the league? Surely a team like Arsenal can't go on a run like that. I mean, I think a lot of teams are doing badly this year. Like Chelsea, obviously, have dropped off the face of the planet. Liverpool have dropped off the face of the earth. City have had a bit of a wobbler. Tottenham are all over the place. And then Newcastle, even they sort of struggled against Palace, didn't they, the other day? So yeah, there's a big gap that's opened up, and Arsenal have hit form and just stayed in it, stayed in the groove, and just kept going, and they've been able to ascend to the top of the league. So that's what's happened, and the nearest challengers are us. That just sort of shows you where the league is at the minute. But yeah, that would be my answer.
Definitely. We'll go back to the goals. So it's 1-1. Bukayo Saka scores in the 53rd minute. Great goal. Like, it's not really much you could have done about it, to be fair. I know, like you said, with Luke Shaw, was giving him a lot of space, but 1v1 he is tricky. If you get close to him, he can beat you as well. So he is hard to deal with. Luke Shaw didn't really have much help either from the midfielders. To be honest, he was isolated a lot, which is eventually why we ended up bringing Fred on. But that goal from Saka was just world class. You can't really stop that, can you, Sam?
It's like the Elise free kick, innit? It's just,
yeah, exactly.
It is what
everyone's scoring world is against us.
Fantastic. Like, if your goalkeeper's gonna get beaten, you want it to be like an unstoppable world beater shot, don't you? And that's what it was. Sadly, we all know Saka's quality. He's been fantastic for England. He's been one of Arsenal's best players for the last couple of years. Like, him and Odegaard have been absolutely flying for them. They've been some of their best players. Shreyas, our players need a rest. The way they're playing might have injury issues. Yeah, but we've got nobody to rotate Shreyas. Like, there's nobody to rest them for, because as soon as you if you take Rashford out, you got Garnacho, who's a young guy. He's going to be ups and downs. He's not going to be consistent. You take an Anthony, or you take a right side thing. Sancho's not playing at the minute, and then you got Elanga dropping quality. He's massive. Anthony Martial's injured. There is no one to rest for Weghorst. There's nobody. Like, he's the one who's coming in to rest Martial. And then you saw the state of when we don't have Casemiro in the team, we have to put Scott McTominay in there. Quality drop is massive. We have nobody to rotate with Bruno because Donny's out, and we have nobody to rotate with Eriksen. So it's just like, that's the way it is. That's the team we have to play because we have nobody else.
Moving on to a little bit of positive news. I guess your favourite moment of the match, Sam, when Alessandro heads the goal in, and you know what? He throws his fucking head at it as well, doesn't he? Considering he's got black eyes, got a fucking bandage on, and he just describe me your feelings when you saw that when flying the net.
I couldn't think of a better player to have scored for United at that point. That guy is everything I love about Manchester United. He is aggressive, he's passionate, he celebrates every little tiny win. He's a shithouse, and he gets it. He gets what playing for Manchester United is, and that just shows you to get there in the box, and he just absolutely chucks his head, which, like you said, wrapped in a bandage. He got elbowed in the face, which arguably could have been a red card for that Palace guy, because the way he chucked his elbow back, doesn't give a shit. And yeah, Shreyas in the chat, Alessandro played like a warrior. Yeah, he plays every game like that. That's the way he plays. And he had, I know he was out of the team for a little bit, and Shaw did very well at centre back, but it's just clear Varane and Alessandro as a centre back player.
They was fantastic today, by the way. Fantastic. Yeah. A couple of quotes here from well, we obviously know what happens, and after that, 20 minutes onwards, they kind of control the game, don't they? And it feels like at the time, it's like they're going to end up scoring it. You can just see it.
Just getting battered.
Yeah, it was just wave after wave after wave, and it's like, they could only deal so much with it until the 90th minute, and then Nketiah puts the final nail in the coffin. Ten Hag's done an interview here, so there's a couple of quotes. It was a great game, a lot of tempo, and the audience is the big winner. Two top teams, but of course we are disappointed when you lose this game in the late stage. All the goals we conceded today are mistakes. It can't happen. He said, even last week we were so hard to beat in such situations. Today we were not. All 3 goals could have been avoided. They Arsenal are very good on the ball, but we are a good defending team. There were not a lot of open chances. We made mistakes, which we can't make. This game was decided by small details, but also the decision making that is hard to accept. And I think it's very true that, because you look at the goals that we did concede, the mistake from Wan-Bissaka at the back post, the mistake from letting Saka roam free, not getting touch tight to him, Eriksen just kind of like standing off him, letting him score. And then the third goal, I can't really think.
I think it was just the pressure got to us. Like, it's just tiredness and fatigue. Like, you're just getting absolutely wave after wave of attack, just on you, and you're relying on
concentration as well. Yeah, it's hard to keep that. Like,
your centre backs are like holding the game together pretty much. Like, they're the ones that keep you in the game, and De Gea pulling out like really good saves. And then it's just eventually sometimes there's a crack in the wall, and they get in and they score, and it's just that's again, it goes down to squad depth. You don't have anybody to bring on, no fresh legs, no reinforcing that midfield, no reinforcing those defense, etc. like that. Marky Marks in the chat. We need squad depth desperately.
Yeah, we need players, man.
So that's what it comes down to.
And the only thing you're hearing at the minute, which Romano tweeted, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, that we're only going to go in for someone at the very end of the window in the last few hours if there's any opportunities. And this is just, unfortunately, the season that we're at the minute. Could we do more if we invested a little bit in January potentially? But the way it's going, we knew as soon as the Glazers announced that they was going to sell the club, they was never going to invest money in it because they're all about money. We know what they're about. It's been like this for the past 18 years. So Ten Hag is going to have to do it despite him. And we're just going to have to drag ourselves to the end of the season because we've got big games coming up now. We can't sit here and just focus on that game and worried what went wrong. We have to go forward. You've got to propel forward now because you've got a big semi-final. We're still in Europa League. Got games in the league that are coming thick and fast. But we have got a favourable run now, haven't we, Sam? In fairness, like in the next couple of games, you haven't got none of the big six, whatever you want to call it. We've got Leeds, I think Brentford, Leicester, like these kind of guys. So it seems like a more favourable run. Do you think this should be a blip in the system and then we'll continue?
It could be, or it could be a case of like fatigue starts catching up, so injuries start hitting us.
Yeah.
I know Chelsea are going through it at the minute, aren't they? They've got what, like 8-9 players out injured, first team players. So we could well end up in that situation because, like we said, no squad depth. We can't rotate as much as we would like to, and there's no easy games. I know you say we've got a favourable run, but there's no easy games in the Premier League.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like we've been beaten by Brentford, been beaten by Brighton, etc. So I'm hoping it's just, like you said, I'm hoping it's just a blip. We've come up against a team that's more advanced in their progression, has a squad depth, is more sort of acclimatized to each other. I think that's where Arsenal are at. City have obviously got massive pots of money and a world-class player in every position. So we can't compete with that right now. Right now we can't compete with that. However, who knows what's coming down the line with the new ownership and all that sort of stuff. Who knows what's going to happen. So I think this season we focus on securing that top 4 place and finishing as high as we can. Like if we can finish third, I think that would be an accomplishment, and then possibly winning one of these cups that we're still in, a League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, something like that. I think that should be our focus this season. I think talks of a title race were very premature, and while it was exciting and sort of, could we?
We've always been grounded on it,
exactly.
innit, with the title race.
It was never really realistic in terms of like we said with squad depth and stuff. But it's a little bump in the road. We've dropped. It's arguably say we dropped points again today, like we did against Crystal Palace. But if you're going to lose to someone, losing against the league leaders is not a shame, is it?
Yeah, it's about perspective. Let us know, guys. Top 4 in a trophy. I bet a lot of you would have taken it at the start of the season. I know for a fact I would have. Top 4. Obviously, we're still a long way to go yet, but we've got a good chance. Semi-finals against Forest, very favourable draw, and then we're probably favourites in the final. We're still 6 points ahead of Tottenham, who were the closest to us, closest threat to the top 4. And we've got a good run of games now. So it's not all doom and gloom. I'm not feeling like a lot of the times under previous managers, I would have felt very fucking shattered in confidence and pissed off. And I'm not as bad at the minute.
There was no evidence under previous managers of like progression or players playing well or players improving. There was no evidence of that. It was just like a slog. Whereas under Ten Hag, we've clearly seen players are improving. There's been progression in the style of play and the way we play. We've been winning games that we didn't win before. We've played and been exciting, which we haven't done before. So there's been signs of improvement, which I think gives us hope for the future. Whereas like last season, we were just like taking anything we could get. And it just wasn't going well. Shrindi is saying we need 2 centre midfielders, 2 centre backs, a striker / centre forward, and a CDM. Yeah, I couldn't disagree more, mate. Couldn't agree more, mate. Sorry. Marky Mac, top 4 and a Carabao Cup, good season. Yeah, I'll take that. Definitely take that.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to get into the player ratings. Before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash a like on the video. We're trying to get to 1,050 subs, so if you can help us achieve that landmark whilst we're live right now, that would be absolutely amazing. Remember, we're live every night, 7 o'clock. We've got watch-alongs, transfer shows, literally loads of stuff on this channel. So make sure you join the ever-growing community and help us get to the top. 10k on the road to 10k at the minute. So yeah, thank you for the continued support from you guys. Let's do player ratings then, Sam. Start off obviously with David De Gea. What do you think of his performance? Had a great save from Nketiah.
Yeah.
There's one thing though that really annoyed me. I don't know why he did it.
The ball.
Yeah. Why the fuck did he not catch that? I didn't understand it. It was like you bring in more pressure, man. Distribution at times, passing it out for a throw in. Like, I don't know, man. That great save is kind of balanced out a little bit, but
that's the thing with David De Gea, shot stopper, and the ability to pull off saves like that is amazing, and he seems to do it all the time, and it just never seems to drop in quality, like his ability to do that. But then the build up to Arsenal's first goal with the back post and stuff like that, he played it out from the back, and he got the ball back, and then he played this risky pass to Wan-Bissaka, who lost the ball eventually, and then conceded the corner, and that's what built into the goal. Yeah. And it's just like, again, his distribution and his ability to play with his feet out from the back and stuff is questionable. It's really questionable. And I read something the other day that our scouts were back watching Diogo Costa. And he's not signed a new contract yet, so he can't leave. So there's question marks over him at the minute. Big question marks. Yeah. His shot stopping ability aside, which is absolutely phenomenal. Everything else, there's big question marks. For the save, I'd give him a 6.5. I suppose. Like, you can't give him a bigger than that because he's conceded 3 goals.
Yeah, I'm giving him a 6. I weren't impressed with him today, to be honest. He pissed me off a little bit. But I feel like my opinion's changing on him every single week because he does some really good things, and then some things you're like, would that keeper have done that? Like, would this guy have done that? That's what I'm constantly asking questions about him. I'll give him
is giving David De Gea 5. So
5. Yeah, exactly. Like, I wouldn't be thinking to agree with that. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I thought he kept Martinelli relatively quiet, but then the defending at the back post, there was a decision near the halfway line where Arsenal on the transition from a corner, and he just hesitated, didn't really go for it, ended up fouling Saka, and just little things like that, little situations where he got himself into, and it was like, you're not doing yourself any favours there, mate. Not as good as game. He was really good against Crystal Palace. Not as good today, I didn't think. I thought he was a little bit of a weak link, so I'd give him a 6 again.
Yeah, I'd go with a 6 because, like you said, he was at fault for the goal. Gave the Nketiah just completely lost his man, didn't mark him, and Nketiah was able to score the header. He improved a little bit towards the end and started stepping up to people, like you said. He was putting Martinelli out, etc. But yeah, he wasn't at the standards he's been for the last 3 games previously.
Yeah, exactly. Varane and Lisandro, fantastic. Don't think they really put a foot wrong. Thought maybe, if you're going to compare them both, I'd probably give Leacher like a 7.5 and then Varane a 7. I thought Lisandro was slightly better. I've got some stats here for Lisandro, by the way, that I thought I'd pull up. So, versus Arsenal, 83% pass accuracy, 75 touches, 7 long balls completed, 4 interceptions, 3 clearances, 2 aerial duels, 2 ground duels, 1 shot and 1 goal. Like, he's stopping goals and he's scoring goals in this game, and he was massive. He's really important. So he's my man of the match for Sandro Martinez personally.
I'd agree. Martinez is my man of the match as well. I thought he's phenomenal. That sort of life-saving tackle against Xhaka was fantastic. Scored the goal. 7.5 man of the match. And I give Varane a 7 because I don't think he did anything wrong. Thought he was solid. No. Held it together.
Usual Varane, innit?
Yeah, a usual Rolls Royce of a performance. He's always a 7, 8 out of 10 every single week, and that's what you expect of him.
Yeah, them two solid today. I'll let you lead the floor with this one, Luke Shaw.
I thought he was poor. I thought he was getting done by Saka every single time on that his left hand side, obviously Saka's right hand side. I thought it was just, he was stepping off him continuously, giving him more and more space every single time. Because I don't know whether he was afraid of runners in behind him, etc. I'm not sure what it was. I think Gary Neville mentioned on commentary he needs to step to him, be tighter to him, and just trust that Varane and Lisandro are going to do their jobs with runners and stuff like that. And to be fair, they were solid. So I don't know why he was feeling that way. And just, Saka, again, is a fantastic player, and he'll give anybody a hard time whoever he's running at. But I just thought Luke Shaw was very below par to his usual standards. For me, 5.5. I just think he was terrible.
I agree with a lot of what you were saying, but I thought he was good in certain points going forward. I thought he was anticipating the game at times when he needed to clear it or when he needed to intercept the ball. I'd give him a similar rating to Wan-Bissaka. I thought both of them, not the best game, but not the worst game either. So I'd give Luke Shaw a 6. But either way, we go with 5.5 or 6. I don't mind. Scott McTominay, what are you giving him?
Was he on the
donkey
pitch
today.
Was he on the pitch?
For 30, 40 minutes, I didn't mind him. I was like, he's not really put foot wrong. He's not done anything glaringly. Like, I'm like, oh, God. And then the second half comes about and you see numerous things that he's doing. You're like, he's slipping on his ass. He's letting runners go past him. Like we said, we know the drop-off in quality from Casemiro to McTominay. It's the same drop-off in quality from Lisandro to Maguire. Like, we know what happens when he's not playing. So McTominay, for me, was just... I'd give him a 5.5. We weren't impressed with his performance today at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, it wasn't great, and like you said, the drop off from him to Casemiro is a chasm, a Grand Canyon of a fucking quality of a cliff in it. It was not great at all, and I just don't know if he's Man United quality. I said this a couple of seasons now. I just don't think he's Man United quality, and I think if Newcastle want to take him, I'd let him go. Honestly, I don't
40 mil.
I don't think we could use that to get in, like you said, a Gravenberch or somebody like that. Use that money to go.
Well, look at how much Newcastle spent on Guimaraes. It was 40 million.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, having a player like him to fill in, you wouldn't be fucking asked at all, would you? You'd be like, sweet.
There's just, I think he needs to sort of leave Manchester United. And I think we will see people like him, Harry Maguire, etc., leaving this summer, I think.
Well, the couple of players we just mentioned in Shaw, McTominay, Wan-Bissaka, Roy Keane said something interesting on it. He said, United have made progress, but at the end of the game, I look at Shaw still at left back. There was questions about him, Wan-Bissaka, Fred, McTominay. It's as if Manchester United had not turned the page on the problems of the past.
Yeah,
very interesting
I agree
words.
with him. Marky Mark is saying, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Butcher, 8 out of 10 performance. What a great goal from him. Varane, 8 as well. Shaw struggled against Saka. That was
Christian Eriksen, I'm giving a 5.5. He was disappointed with him today. Struggled in a lot of the areas. We know his quality's on the ball, but we're impressed at all with him today. People might think I'm being harsh. I think people will probably disagree with me on this one, but that's just my personal opinion.
I think when you in a game like that, we were clearly just getting dominated and not in a lot of possession in the ball. And Eriksen needs possession, time on the ball, ability to pick a pass and stuff like that. He's not good in a counter-attack system, I don't think. He's not got the pace. And he just got exposed today. I think he's fatigued as well because he's played pretty much every game for us, every minute. Doesn't often get substituted, so I think he's just absolutely knackered. And again, squad depth. We have nobody to rotate him with. The only other midfielder who could possibly bring on would be a Donny van der Beek, and he's injured for the rest of the season. Since Danik Bal was nowhere near the bench, and then the other option you had was Kobe Mainu, and he's had one appearance for Man United, senior appearance. That's how it is.
Oh, yeah, midfield's light for sure. Bruno Fernandes, great work right off the ball, some nice flicks. But you know what? I look at
defensive work.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Defensive work's fantastic. Like, you need him in the team. He's vitally important, and in the press. But I watched what Ødegaard did for Arsenal today. That's what I want from Bruno as well. I know Ødegaard's top level at the minute, probably the best in the Premier League in terms of form. But that's what I want. That's what I expect from Bruno Fernandes when we get on the ball. It doesn't necessarily have the same qualities, technically, I don't think, as Ødegaard.
He's like a different type of player. He's a different type of player.
Yeah, different type of players. But when he gets on the ball, I just want more from him. Like, there was one pass that he did today where I was like, yeah, that's, to be fair, when he played it into Rashford, Ramsdale came out, and it's a bit of a mix-up. Like, the weight of the pass was really good. But it's too hot and cold for me still in games. You need consistency. If you want the absolute best out of your team, he needs to be playing at the best. Yeah. And he's not doing it at the minute. But he wasn't as bad as McTominay or Singer or Eriksen. I think he was slightly better than them.
Yeah, I'd give him a 6. I think, like you said, off the ball and defensively, he was fantastic. I saw him defending the back post and front post at times and getting the ball up and that. I thought he was really good there. And then just, going forward, just wasn't offering enough or just giving enough quality passing. There was a few hints of it, a few one here and there, but just not enough to help Rashford get in behind their defence. And just there wasn't enough balls into Weghorst as well. Like Weghorst was having to come deep constantly to get the ball, and then obviously
Talk about work rate, by the way.
but he's not got the pace to get back up to the top, which is where you want him. You want him in and around the box. So if a ball comes in, he gets his head, takes it down, etc. But he's having to come deep to get it, and then he's not got the pace. Kudos to him working hard, but again, Bruno needs to be picking those passes out a lot more. I think people struggle with Bruno because he's got such a different style to like an Odegaard or a De Bruyne, who are quite silky on the ball. They're quite sort of really easy on the eye, etc. I think Bruno's got a bit of a different style, so people struggle to see what he does and impacts the team. But yeah, he has to, like you said, he has to be more consistent with it. He has to be game in, game out, putting in top performances.
Yeah, agreed on that 100%. We move on to the right wing, Sam. And, oh, God, where do you start with this guy? So fucking frustrating, man. Like, I could see things he was doing, again, off the ball really well, like, important. But, like, on the ball, the crossing, the passing, the dribbling, it's just like...
He's got no pace either. He's got zero pace.
No, I was struggling with him today. And I was discussing this with a couple of mates beforehand. And he was all like, he's shit, like, he's rubbish or whatever. But I was like, just give him time, man. Like, everyone was writing Rashford off last season saying he's shit, you know, Sam to PSG, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Give Ten Hag time to work with him and he'll come good. But it's hard to stay that patient when you're watching performances like today where you're getting such good areas. And you're like, a Garnacho right there would just kill it. Like, he'd be running at him. He's got the acceleration. He halts the game up a bit. And, like, good situations where you can put crosses in for Weghorst and link up and he's like, he's so frustrating.
Just again refusing to use his right foot.
Hell,
like,
man.
Just have a look down at your feet, Anthony. Just look. I was like, there's another foot there. I can use this. Just fucking use it and put a cross in. It caused so many problems for the Arsenal defenders, and he just, I mean, like, I'm at the point with Anthony now. I'm gonna just accept this is what we're gonna get from him this season. Like, some players take a while to bed in. Like, even City players, they take a while to bed in, take a season to bed in to get to the top optimum thing. Obviously, Casemiro took a while to come in, but he's hit the ground and then he's just stayed there at the top level. We've seen glimpses from Anthony and then he's just sort of dropped off. So I'm willing to give him this season just to bed in, get used to the league, all that sort of stuff, and let Ten Hag work with him. Next season, if he's still doing the same shit, then we got to start questioning. You got to start questioning then. But yeah, I agree with you. I thought he was one of the. I think him, Eriksen, and Scott McTominay all very, very poor. All in the same group. All shit. Need to be better. Not good enough at all.
Yeah, agreed. Do we go? We'll go with Marcus Rashford next. Not exactly a glittering game from him. He had, again, really good moments, 1v1s. Scored a fucking fantastic goal. So I'd give him a 7 for today, just because. Again, he could have performed better in certain elements, but out of the rest of the people that was on the pitch, he was one of the better ones. I think he was probably a 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I thought he was decent. Like you said, the goal was absolutely fantastic. I just don't think he got on the ball enough. There wasn't enough passing out to that left-hand side for him to give him time. There was a questionable foul when he went in and Ramsdale came out and he got tackled by Ramsdale. I think there could be something there, but wasn't given. He just wasn't getting the ball enough to be effective for me. But it's solid for one of the better players for us. But again, we can't keep expecting Marcus Rashford to save us in these sort of situations, because
imagine if he got injured. Fuck me.
That's what I mean.
Wow.
That's what I mean. So we need to be careful here. Other players need to start contributing and scoring goals and take the load off Marcus Rashford, because as good as he is, you can't rely on him just 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And then our final man, Mr. Weghorst, much better today, in my opinion. The link-up play, playing with his back to goal, is pressing off the ball. Like, talk about a pressing demon. We were discussing this one when we first signed him, what he was doing for Wolfsburg. Even in the Premier League, he was top of the metrics for pressing. Works really hard. It's why we call him Workhorse, of course. Wow, Workhorse. Much better today. I was impressed with his play. You can still see he's not really used to his teammates, because there was opportunities in the final third where there'd be a dummy or there'd be like a 1-2-1 that didn't necessarily like go to finger. I think he can do a job there. He's obviously a stopgap. He's not going to be this sparkly, striker that comes in and scores fucking shitloads of goals. but he does a job, and I thought he did it quite well today. So I'm not going to be too harsh. I'll just give him a 7 because I thought he was much better than his debut.
Yeah, no, he put some solid work in. Like I said previously, he was dropping really, really deep to get on the ball. But again, he's not got the pace to then leg it back up to get into the box, which is where you want him. Again, Bruno wasn't putting enough balls into the box for him to get on the end of. Anthony was just, like you said, on that
He was
right
putting
side.
him in, but on the floor,
Yeah,
or
just,
like going out for a goal kick.
Like there was a point when Anthony came in and he had Weghorst, Rashford, and somebody else to aim at, and he just hit it straight into the Arsenal defence.
Yeah.
And you just like,
so frustrating.
That's an opportunity right there. Get Weghorst in front of that, he's scoring. He had that nice shot as well, didn't he? Where he pinged it and Ramsdale made the save. So yeah, he was decent. Definitely better than what he was at Crystal Palace, and hopefully that's a sign of things to come. Like more games and minutes and stuff, he gets better and better. But like I said, stopgap. I don't think he'll be here next season. I don't think he'll be. If he is, he's going to be like third choice striker, I think.
Which I don't mind.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't mind.
That's fine.
Fair. Yeah.
If you want to bring him on 50 minutes for the end and just knock balls
exactly.
in, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
But I'm just really afraid. I watched the video this morning on the strikers and stuff like that, and Harry Kane again, goal scorer extraordinaire, can score goals in the Premier League, but age 30, going on 31, another stopgap striker. Is that the risk? That's what, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff around it saying might come to United. There's a lot of talks going on, etc. That's another stopgap, isn't it, for me? You might get 2-3 years out of him and he'll score a shit ton of goals, but then what do you do after that? Why are we not looking at a striker for the next 7-8 years? Why are we not looking at a Sesko, Vlahovic, who's 22, even Osimhen, who's, what is he, 26, 25?
24.
24. So why are we not looking at those guys? Because they're next 7-8 years and they're not even in the prime. They'll only get better. Harry Kane, really good for right now. What happens in 2-3 years when he starts to decline?
A lot of injuries as well. 400 days in total.
Another Anthony Martial risk in it. Like Anthony Martial, like how many days has he been out? And do we want another one of that? Like on his day, fantastic, but just constantly injury ridden.
I'd like look. I had to say I rate Harry Kane highly, as we discussed this yesterday. I think he's one of the best in the world right now. But it's just, is he right for us at the minute? That's the only thing I don't know. Like I had no doubt he'd probably come in and he'd put in numbers and he'd do well.
Definitely.
But there's no longevity in it. But each to their own. Like I said, the striker show is out. Did it this morning. If you want to go check that out, it's called Striking Gold. Be sure to have a look at it.
Shall I read out a couple of comments?
Yeah, go for it.
Aaron, Ericsson looked like he's lack of pace hurt of us, and McTominay was awful. Yeah, agreed. Brandon, David De Gea needs to clear the ball. What is he doing? Why do we pass back and forth? It's ridiculous. And then Adam with the best comment I've seen so far. Chivia is in hospice care after that result. Yeah, I don't imagine Chivy's doing too well after that.
No, I don't. He won't be happy with it, of course. But he, I don't think he'd be too thinking with it either. Like, because it wasn't the worst performance ever. We did all right for the most part. It was just the last 20 minutes where we were just hanging on. And you know, Arsenal Emirates haven't lost this season. It was always going to be tough. Always, especially without Casemiro. That's what I mean. All things considered, it was always going to be tough. But we're agreed on man of the match, right? Lisandro Martinez for both of us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just again, the big topic again around for every game where we don't get result, squad depth. It's going to be a recurring theme throughout the rest of the season, I'm afraid, because that's what's costing us. That's what's costing us.
I suppose on a more positive note, we've got a semi-final in the Carabao Cup coming up against Nottingham Forest. Good time to bounce back. We could potentially be in the final within a week and the next couple of weeks.
2 legs, isn't it?
Very interesting. Yeah. So we play Forest at their ground, and then it's like the second legs at Old Trafford. So favourable draw. Could be getting into a final. Still got the Europa League against Barcelona. You know, top 4 still on with 6 points ahead in the top 4. So all things considered, you know, we're in 11 games. I think we've lost 1. So yeah,
and we've lost to big teams. Like pretty much, it's like City. We got beat by City early on, and we've just been beaten by Arsenal.
Yeah, 2 of the best teams in the league.
It's not too bad, is it? Like I know we Brentford and Brighton at the beginning of the season, but since then, like can't really argue.
It's progress. It's progress. We're getting there. Patience. We have patience. Thank you for everybody tuning in to the review. Obviously not what we wanted from the game, but we move. We've got plenty of more games coming up, plenty of more watch-alongs and reviews of the game. So to stay tuned in. And my brain's fried. I've been live that long. My brain's absolutely fried. Yeah. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like on the video. And me and Sam, we'll see you in the next one.
Have a good one, everyone. Peace.